I'm here to tell you that Mayor Chris Swanson sexually assaulted my sister when he was 15 and she was 5 years old. With permission, I can no longer spare you the details. She was raped and defiled. It happened multiple times in the home. His mother provided daycare to us, and he told her that he would hurt her family if she ever told. It was not childhood experimentation. It was malicious abuse. The mayor was charged as a juvenile, took a plea deal, and executed a sentence. Eventually, my family moved on, but damaged. Then in 2016, he announced his candidacy for mayor of this town. We contacted his office and left messages asking him not to put my sister through this. We told him that we had no desire to ruin his life, but that we didn't feel it was too much to ask that he not pursue this position of power and access after ruining hers. As he continued to ignore and dodge us, we continued to plead with him. When he made it clear that he didn't care how we felt, we tried to go public. That didn't gain much traction, and having him to watch his sanctimonious behavior in the press has been one of the biggest insults of our lives. It has been excruciating and revictimizing for my sister. Then, seemingly out of the blue last year, we were contacted by the Restorative Justice program, letting us know that the mayor had been working with them and was hoping to start a dialogue with us if we were open to it. While we were extremely skeptical given his actions only a few years prior and the fact that he seemed to be eyeing higher public office, we decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. We expressed that true amends are more than words, however. They are actions. We agreed that we were willing to let him have control of the narrative and do what he needed to do to resign with some dignity. He seemed to agree. He wrote us multiple statements affirming the abuse, some private letters to our family, and some drafts of public statements he claimed he would eventually make. We went back and forth for weeks editing statements, only for him to say that he needed more time or he wasn't quite in the right headspace, and he would say that he wasn't ready over and over again. This once again began to consume our daily lives. It was agonizing, and we began to realize that someone who was truly reformed and attempting to help us heal would never put us through this. It became clear that his attempt to make amends was actually an attempt to manage and mitigate us. We began to field concerns from other victims who were frustrated that Mr. Swanson had made no attempt to reach out to them. They felt this was likely because the abuse to them was never as public as Lynn's. We also took note of the fervor in which he was fighting the growing calls for him to resign for other ethical violations. We feel like pawns in his chess game. Last month, he terminated from the Restorative Justice program and ghosted my family. Shortly after, he gave a defiant public speech saying he would not resign because he has committed no malfeasances. One thing has become clear. Throughout all the events that transpired since the mayor abused my sister, it has never been about what she needed to heal. It's always been about Chris Swanson and his aspirations.
Amen.
I'm asking that this stops today and that he finally makes a true amends and resigns. Thanks everybody for coming. We appreciate you.
Last week we had 2 additional people request to be scheduled as appearances at tonight's council meeting regarding the concerns raised by the Justice for Marks Drive group. This group has made claims against Mayor Swanson due to the fact that these allegations focus on a time when Mayor Swanson did not hold a public office in the city. We came to a basic consensus that the matter is not city business.
I want the public to know that we listened, we heard what was happening, and we knew what was going on. And the community knew about the mayor's past prior to him being elected for his first term. While they could have their 3 minutes here in the council chambers, it isn't going to change anything. I don't know that having them come before the council is going to make a huge difference.
Russia are not against each other. It's good and it's evil that are fighting the forces. We all know that good is God and evil is Satan. And if we allow the hatred that has built up in our community to go on, there will be no future to Harbor.
Next, we have Tim Jezierski. Already progress is made.
And remember, you could be the next target. Remember, accusations are just that, accusations.
Jesus was brought a woman who was caught in the very act of adultery. He said, "Let the one who is without sin cast the first stone. Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." And Jesus was clear when he said, "If we do not forgive men their sins from our heart, neither will our Father in heaven forgive us."
I did not know Mayor Swanson, but had become friends with his mom, Kay, and figured if he was anything like her, he would help me. One day before we were to hold a media-only Christmas tea on the Edna G, I had decided to step away from an event I had thought of, I had proposed, and I, along with the Friends of the Edna G, had worked to make possible. Although I no longer wanted anything to do with the event, Mayor Swanson encouraged me to stay with the project. Did I say to Mayor Swanson now, "You have had the imagination, creativity, and the courage to introduce and do new things in this town."
North Shore Horizons does not take a position regarding most city business. We are compelled, however, to address the arbitrary decision to refuse voice to sexual assault victims. We are not here to shame, we are here to offer education and support. We have heard more than once that allowing victims to speak would do no good. Fortunately, none of us are in a position to determine the value of one another's words. Character has always been a valid piece of information when determining a candidate's suitability for office. Many have addressed character in this room without issue. Your constituents have a right to hear about character. It is an inherent part of holding public office. We have heard dozens of people share their stories in this room, current and past stories, which brings up very real legal issues regarding the denial. But because the topic might be uncomfortable for you, is merely a challenge for you to educate yourself and bring comfort to uncomfortable places. Be an example to us. Sexual assault is not a private or personal issue. It is an epidemic. It is a crime. Every time a victim is shut down, we create space for more assaults and assure that our sons and daughters will stay silent when they are victims. I know that each of you would fight for their right to tell their story. Victims are shut out of the media by perpetrators with means by sending cease and desist letters and threatening lawsuits, and now they have been shut out by you. A group with power silencing survivors, just like perpetrators use their power to silence victims. Show your constituents and your children and grandchildren that you care about them and their safety. You can actually help prevent future sexual assaults and support the healing of those already victimized by finding your own voice. Reach out to the survivors, acknowledge the pain caused by turning them away, and let them have their 3 minutes. Right now you have the chance to highlight your own character, to admit your mistakes and remedy them. There have been a lot of people here asking for just that over the past several months, and they have been repeatedly disappointed. You can be the example and the light in what's become a very dark place.